So the story I'm going to be referring to here was covered by GB News. I didn't watch that video, but it's been reported in the Metro, and I'm just going to read this out. And the report is by Brooke Davies. As always, I'll read the report first, then follow up on it. Police have apologised over an officer who caused outrage by telling a Christian street singer that she could not perform religious music outside church grounds. PCSO Maya Hadjipitkova, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, even stuck her tongue out as gospel singer Harmony London 20 filmed the encounter, which cut short her rendition of Amazing Grace. The volunteer officer told her, "You cannot sing outside of church grounds unless you have been authorised by the church to do these kind of songs." The Metropolitan Police said she was mistaken and it was sorry for the offence caused and will take the learning forward. It argued the breach was due to unlicensed busking on Oxford Street, central London, rather than the content of songs. Harmony, who has 531,000 TikTok followers, said she was not busking but sharing the gospel. She added, "I just felt very upset by the situation. It was quite humiliating. I felt downcast and sad. The Bible encourages people to sing God's praises and I'll continue to do what I do." Ex-MP Anne Widdecombe said they should take very firm action against this individual, not least for sticking her tongue out, which is a gesture of contempt. She certainly doesn't appear to know the law. Crime campaigner Norman Brennan posted, and he's a former police officer himself, "This is not a good look. Some of us are trying to help policing get back public support and this does not help." It's a disgrace. They've apologised, but it's not enough. It's just not. Because this is yet another example of a useless police officer disgracing her uniform. Now, I know she's just a PCSO, so she's not paid, but she should just be let go. There should be no second chances. It would be easy to say this was a misunderstanding, but to me, the fact that she stuck her tongue out at the camera just shows a lack of professionalism and a contempt for the public. She's a disgrace, and she should be let go with no positive references written, because I just think this is an abuse of power. I mean, really, particularly in London, there's a problem with people not getting burglaries addressed on time when it happens. Officers arrive hours later, and usually there's excuses about we're stretched for resources. But you get officers wasting time on stuff like this. It's infuriating, actually. And this coming on top of that incident, and I know I mentioned this a few times, but I think it's important, with Brendan Kavanagh and British Transport Police officer who was harassing him on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party. Now, I've read another report just beside this. I'll just show you this. This is from the Metro, February the 1st. This is what I'm reading from. That's PCSO Maya Hadjipitkova. The other report is naked crime victim mocked by officers. An assault victim was mocked by police officers as they viewed body cam footage of her partly exposed body. An investigation has found the 22-year-old woman had suffered a seizure while held in a police van in Newbury, Berkshire. During a video playback of the incident, 3 male officers made sexual slurs about her groin and chest, the BBC probe revealed. Their conduct was reported by a student officer who later left the force. Thames Valley Police told Metro the officers involved have been sanctioned. Sanctioned? Is that enough? I mean, these perverts shouldn't be in the force. Is sanctioned really enough? I think the police need to do a lot more, all forces need to do a lot more to root out this problem. I mean, in the first case I mentioned, she should just be dismissed. I was going to say without pay, but PCSOs aren't paid anyway. Maybe it's a fall in standards. The fact that it's a voluntary role, they're letting slip idiots like her, who should not be serving in the first place. There's an obvious lack of common sense. Now, even if this was a misunderstanding and she took the singer to be busking without a permit, the fact that she stuck her tongue out shows a lack of professionalism. Her attitude stinks. And I think she just I think she took it on herself because of her personal animosity to gospel songs. But the irony of this, someone being, told to stop doing something completely lawfully outside a church, I think it's an attack on freedom of faith, actually. It's a disgrace. But I don't think an apology is enough. I think the Met need to show that they take this seriously and let her go. I'm sick and tired of police officers getting second chances when they abuse their position, because it happens time and time and time again. As for the other case involving Thames Valley Police, is a is a sanction enough? I mean, when you consider some of the cases recently involving male officers, Wayne Couzens and David Carrick, I mean, you know, that's the sort of mindset coming from male officers in that force. Making comments about a young woman who's had a medical condition, sexually aggressive comments. I think they should be let go. I don't think a sanction is enough, because you see these cases where police officers have a long track record of sanctions or reprimands on the record, and they just get away with it every time. Basically, I think the police need to drastically improve their standards, and I'm sick of the excuses. I agree with Norman Brennan regarding the that other incident. He's a former police officer, and I think he shares the frustration of the public. I think there are officers out there who want to see a back to basics policing. And so far, I haven't responded to the comments on my policing video. We'll get round to that because it's got quite a lot of traction. But is it so much to ask that the police are professional? Is it so much to ask that they adopt common sense? Is it so much to ask that they stop abusing their positions? I mean, all the public want to see is the police apprehending criminals, not harassing law-abiding members of the public, going about things that is completely within their legal rights. This is an abuse of power, it's an attack on individual liberty, and it's a disgrace. And these jobs worth officers who aren't fit to wear the uniform need to be kicked out. And it's no good saying, well, there's lots of good officers who do brave things and tackle dangerous suspects. Yeah, I know that. But one doesn't mitigate the other. It's not good enough to say, oh, well, because this officer's done something brave, like rescued a child or taken on a knife thug, then that will just, downplay the problem the police have with PR. It's not good enough. All officers should be in the force for the right reasons. All officers should be professional and brave. They shouldn't be abusing their position. And I'm sick of it. Let me know your thoughts.